What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Beers and. Today, we're going to be talking about beers and things are getting too spicy for the pepper. For those of you that get that joke,
welcome, people.
Welcome in, and you have just earned a very special place in our hearts. Everyone, welcome back into Beers and. Alex and Nick here, as
Hello.
always. We're talking chili peppers today.
Chili peppers. I thought we were talking about peppers in general.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm talking about chili peppers.
I need to redo all of my research then.
No, not at all. It's a pepper-centric episode.
It is. If you'd like to see the shit show unfold
in our new locale, we're back at the Galewood.
Back at the Galewood Estates. Go ahead and check out our YouTube page over at Beers End Podcast. Like us over on TikTok and Instagram at Beers End Podcast as well. Over on the Twitter, Beers End Podcast 1. And
Beers End 1.
Beers End 1. Oh, so close. And then if you want to write us an email about how I'm a piece of shit and don't know our own Twitter handle after 69 episodes, you can do that.
Nice.
beersendpodcast@gmail.com.
That's why I usually do the social intro part of the podcast.
You see, this is what I get for trying to be ambitious.
Okay, Nick. We have a Nick pick today.
Yes.
It's called Pink Guava Funk. If you follow along, you know the joke with guava at this point.
Yes. That I only know what guava is now.
This is from Prairie Artisan Ales. So this is a sour ale with pink guava, and this says Brett, but it's Bretinomyces.
Correct.
So Bretinomyces is like a yeast strain typically used for farmhouse ales.
Oh.
It like gives it a nice like funky kind of, like it's like a wild ale kind of feel vibe to it.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Because I do know it's, again, good kettle fruited sour. So
Well, yeah, with the guava and the Bretinomyces, I think
it's going to hit that sour nicely.
Yeah, they could play off each other very nicely.
I am super stoked.
So, quick question of the day.
Question of the day.
Do you have a favorite spicy dish?
Ooh, do I have a favorite spicy dish? Yes.
Okay.
Two. One of them is called shakshuka.
Oh, I've never had that.
Oh,
I was just talking about that today.
So I had started to make shakshuka, and for folks who don't know, it's a
Is it Hungarian?
No, shakshuka is actually like a northern
Turkish?
African,
really?
Middle Eastern dish that's usually for breakfast.
Yes.
And it's like stewed tomatoes and peppers, onions, some cumin.
You poach the eggs in
coriander,
the sauce, right?
Yes, and you usually eat that on like ciabatta bread. But it was always funny because I had gotten like cast iron skillets, found the recipe, made it, and my father had always made reference to something in Sicilian called like kukulumal. I have no idea what it actually is, but the second that I had made it, my dad was like, "Oh my god, that's kukulumal," and I was like, "Oh, really?" He was like, "Yeah, my mother used to make this, and nobody's made it." And like,
Really?
Swear to God, yeah. And he was like over the moon about it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Otherwise,
my go-to easy, and I've talked about it before, is Nashville hot chicken.
yeah, which I still
have never had.
No,
It's pretty good, but I won't go with that because I talk about it all the time. I really just love like spicy Mexican food.
ooh, okay.
Like I feel like you can't go wrong with any of the chilies, a burrito.
You and I have had this conversation that I think that there is a fundamental difference between hot and spicy. I like hot more than I like spicy at times.
Okay,
So
I
like,
see that.
I love like Indian dishes, like a really
Yes.
good like hot curry.
Yeah.
If something
like a
that's gonna
vindaloo.
make, yes,
I had a delicious vindaloo recently.
something that makes me sweat as opposed to burns my tongue. If that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. Okay.
that's what I'm gonna go with.
All right.
What are your favorite spicy foods?
Yeah, send them over to us. I'll post on the Instagram.
What do you love
Today or
to eat
tomorrow.
and hate to shit? That's what I want to know.
What makes it hot when you go number 2? Yes,
what makes
we
it
went
hot
there.
when you poo?
All right, I opened it for you, but I won't pour it for you.
That's fine.
You're
a gentleman and a
getting
scholar.
too
Now,
used to it.
The
Not the
reason-
color I thought it was going to be.
no, because I believe that it is actually a pale ale. Oh no, I was reading something different. I was reading a different beer
no,
can
it's
before.
it's a sour ale.
I am so on top of
No,
things.
you got it.
Clearly, I am correct. So I bought this primarily for the can art. I love the can art on this. It's kind of wacky, little whimsical, mildly judgmental. characters on here. There's a sloth.
I feel like the sloth's slightly out of place.
Well, I don't know, because not as out of place as the giraffe's eyes are. They are very far apart.
How about that orangutan on the other side next to the elephant?
I like
the purple elephant, by
Yeah,
the way.
he seems kind of angry. There's a lemur. I don't know what this is. Is this supposed to be a lion or a tiger?
I think that's a lion
Oh, is that supposed what's
on
the
the
other
one
guy?
side, and we have a tiger on the other side.
Do you think that's a tiger?
I do.
Ooh, he looks like the Lorax.
He does look like the
Right?
Lorax. So actually, this is kind of how I had known. I've had beer from them before. I talked about that with you off air.
Yes.
And I only know that because of the can art. Like
I
I
love-
specifically remember this style of can art. And as soon as I pulled up Prairie Artisan Ales,
Oh yeah,
look
there
what
it
we
is.
have. This is their can art style. So they're brewed out of Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I didn't know
Their
that.
tap room. This is our first one from them on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe the one that I had from them previously was a mango
Ooh,
sour. That reminds me of this.
it smelled that yeasty smell is very present,
Yeah.
and not in an incredibly like displeasing way.
If you haven't had any beer or anything with Bretinomyces in it and you're not familiar with it, it's almost got like a barnyard funk to it. Like that's the only
loving
way
the
I can
smell
describe
of
it.
it.
Yeah,
If
it's like effervescent.
Yeah. It
little
almost
bit.
smells like if you've ever had like really good, freshly made, like apple cider from the farm, and
Yeah.
the bottom of the
Yes,
apple
the
cider
sediment,
can, the
the
sediment
unfiltered.
again, and yeah, some of that again, more kind of yeast type smell. Oh, I'm loving this. I'm excited for it.
So just for clarification,
You just spelled the word spot on, if I'm
yeah,
not
I know.
mistaken.
Yeah, I know how to spell it.
Well, let me tell you.
So it's a genus of yeast traditionally associated with old stock ale from 19th century Britain. It's also recognized as being responsible for tertiary fermentation in lambic and Flanders red ales. So I guess like
You know I've got a soft spot for anything that assists in tertiary fermentation.
so I guess like spontaneous fermentation or like sub fermentation of the beer while it's in the bottle.
I'm sorry, I zoned out because I thought of something. Next time we're out in public,
Mm-hmm.
I want us to start to meet people and introduce ourselves as research doctors in tertiary fermentation. Because it sounds like something you could easily get away with.
No one's ever going to question that.
Never,
Because we're going to find people who are like, oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
You're a doctor? What type of doctor? I actually work in
Tertiary fermentation.
Tertiary fermentation.
Do-
Oh, what is that?
I deal
Oh,
with tertiary fermentation. Well,
That's-
it's this really awkward subplot of fermenting.
it's just
I don't want to bore you.
Yeah, I don't want to bore you at all, but it has to do with like life growth, and we're watching as cells grow and mature.
You know how like the sugar eats the alcohol and then it poops out carbon dioxide?
No one's gonna even get past the tertiary fermentation part.
Nope. Cheers.
Cheers.
New life ventures. Mm. Yes.
Wow. I am super happy that I bought completely based on the can art. That is fucking delicious.
You know what? It like reminds me of a 450 North beer that we've had, but without all the fruit.
Yes, because I was gonna say because there's something common. I shouldn't say that. Something
Slightly
familiar
Yeah.
about the and which is interesting. I find that you feel this way because I know that you are not a big fan necessarily of like saisons, and I find
No.
that this is much closer
close,
to
yeah.
a farm style saison than anything else.
But it tastes like a smoothie sour.
It's because that guava is so nice.
The
and
guava and
so
the
sweet.
Bretinomyces.
I am
Yeah.
very, very happy.
Wow,
with
this is really tasty.
It's delicious. 6.3%, by the way.
Oh, very surprising.
Yeah,
I would love to try more from these guys. I'm into the can art.
So I believe that I had picked up one from them originally that I believe they do, which is called Rum Ham. And the
Oh, I remember
gentleman-
when you picked it up.
Yes, and the associate at the store had said, "Listen, these guys are great. If you want to like try a nice one, if you've never had them before," he goes, "Rum Ham is great, but try Pink Guava Funk first." And I was like, "Okay."
You know what, dude? And this was brewed a long time ago,
What is it? What's the candy?
back in December. And that beer
Oh, wow.
that beer tastes fresh.
That is, yeah. I could have so many of these
Yeah, I would
on
crush.
a
I would
nice
crush these.
hot day. It's a cool day, by the way, today. It's a cooler
Yeah,
day.
it was not as hot as it was recently. And these are nice because of the 12-ounce cans.
Yeah.
So like you
You can party.
Yeah,
you can
you
get
put 'em
down with
away.
these.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am super impressed.
I would be really into that.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. Good thing we got our own beers. I'm
right.
gonna go kind of high on this one. 4.29.
I like it. This is like a 4.7 for me.
Wow.
This is a really
Whoa,
this
somebody
is
sound the trumpets.
I don't think I've felt this
It's really good.
I am not
It's very tasty.
I can't find anything, at least in any of my sips, that I am not loving about this.
So there's like almost like an apple cider vinegar kind of vibe to it, which is what I think you were getting at before. Like
It's light, it's palatable.
very very punchy though.
It's got something unique to it, and it's got, and I hate to say, I will phrase it the way it doesn't have like a real puss ABV on it.
No.
Okay, like
No, it doesn't.
this drinks like, to me, like a Radler. This drinks like
Kind
a,
of.
like a
It's
you know,
very
a
light, very light tasting.
4.5%, but coming in at 6.3. Well done, Prairie Artisan Ales.
Love this beer. Wow, you're 4.7.
Yeah, like I'm really impressed.
That's
with
your
this.
highest. That's your
think
highest rating.
I think it might be. I
Yeah.
am extraordinarily impressed with this.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna follow up this beer
Yeah.
with the best joke you've ever heard on this podcast.
Play it on me.
Why couldn't the chili pepper be an archer?
Because of his irritable Bose syndrome.
Because he didn't have an arrow.
Ah!
Yes. Yes.
Oh God! And I snorted through it too.
All right.
Oh shit!
We got him. We're back on track,
Wow.
ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Not terrible, right?
No.
That one didn't suck.
Not the worst. Not the. You know what? Prairie Artisan Ales. Look what you've made me do.
Look what you did.
Look what you did to me. You did this with your delicious, delicious beer.
Very good. Very
Wow.
good. Why don't you start us off with
God.
peppers?
All
please?
right. Well, I'm going to bring us right back down to earth then in that case. So, God forbid I go ahead and just do things regularly.
No. I will not stand
Heavens forbid. Are you familiar with Pepper the Dalmatian?
Absolutely not, but I do love Dalmatians.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little story about Pepper Dalmatian, the Dalmatian. Okay, so by the way, my sources for this were Wikipedia, as well as a Slate article from a gentleman or journalist named Daniel Engber. Okay, so a Dalmatian belonging to the Lakovich family, who had lived on an 82-acre farm around like the Bethlehem, Allentown area of Pennsylvania. Okay, so Julia, the mother, preferred to take in strays, but she had seen Pepper and adopted her formally from like the kennel. So the dog would often accompany Julia on certain nights where she was a nurse at the Good Shepherd Nursing Home, which had housed the elderly as well as handicapped orphans, which sounds like sad to be an orphan, sad to be handicapped, but like handicapped orphans.
I would prefer to be candy capped.
Handicapped, yeah. I'm having a great...
That sounds
This
sounds
is
phenomenal.
making me so happy that I can...
Love it.
Candy-capped orphans.
No, we're not going to turn that to a jingle.
So on the evening of June 22nd, 1965, Pepper was let out by the children, but when they went to go ahead and like call the dog back to the house about a half an hour later, she didn't come back, which they said was like completely unlike her. So at first they thought that unfortunately, perhaps she had been struck by a car, because they didn't think there was a type of dog to run away. It was later learned, however, that someone had seen a man in a van come and basically dog nap the girl, the Dalmatian. Pepper. So now, this was in, like I said, 1965. So in the wake of Disney's 101 Dalmatians, which was in 61.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that old.
Oh, yeah. The Humane Society had began to investigate more and more instances of like underground animal trade. And much of that actually was with involved like stolen pets that were sold to corporations and to like labs for like experiments and experimental research. So through assistance from like many folks, the Dalmatian, it was learned, Pepper was taken from a shelter in eastern Pennsylvania to Manhattan. And en route, the person who had taken her to Manhattan had made stops at Einstein, St. Luke's, and Columbia hospitals, as well as to Montefiore Hospital in the Bronx. That is where Pepper ultimately was sold.
At the hospital?
At the hospital in the Bronx for allegedly about $15.
Oh, my God.
So the hospital was contacted. And when contacted, there was a nurse who confirmed, like, yes, there were 2 Dalmatians that were dropped off here on this particular day. One was younger and one was older, the older one being Pepper. But they said they were like, that dog is no longer here. So the family was like trying to figure out again what happened. And they're starting to uncover again more and more of these underground, again, rings as this is happening. So eventually the media starts to pick it up. And there's actually a story about Pepper that runs in Sports Illustrated as well as in Life magazine.
Oh, wow.
Under the title Concentration Camp for Dogs, because they start to find that these dogs are, again, horrifically treated in these trades. There is a crazy, crazy connection between quite literally like local dog catchers and a former retired NYPD officer who was like living up in like Ulster County in New York. Like all of these people involved in this trade. Eventually, after the articles had been published, it led to public outcry, resulting in Congress receiving at one point more letters about the treatment of dogs from these. They were getting more letters about that than letters about the Civil Rights Act or the war in Vietnam.
People love animals way more than humans.
Way more.
That is a thing.
Way more. So after all of this, it culminated in the United States passing the Animal Welfare Act of 1966, which had fully established like regulations for the treatment of animals in like lab research.
I mean, that's
whatnot.
great.
It to me was just wild that it was quite literally, again, unfortunately, this family's dog, and Pepper was learned. It was learned that she had been euthanized after some experimental like surgeries.
Oh my gosh.
But at the same time, you know what shocks me? The dog was kidnapped in 65. This act was voted on and passed by 66.
Yeah,
which just goes to
that's
show
what
you,
surprised me.
shit can get done.
Shit can get done if enough people
rally around it.
Right.
But like I had never heard of this story before. This is again why it's it's why you can't like leave like a dog even nowadays like in the car and whatnot. It's a federal
on a
crime.
hot day, right.
So that's all thanks to Pepper, who essentially gave her life and became the most important dog in science.
Wow. You know, it's crazy to me. The thing that stood out the most from that story was that she was sold.
Correct.
She was sold to a hospital.
Oh,
of all places, like places we go when we need something, when we need care.
So again, Einstein, St. Luke's, and Columbia were hospitals in Manhattan, and then Montefiore was another one in the Bronx. So this guy did
multiple drops.
I believe his name was like Miller, if I'm not mistaken, was the last name. He would make these multiple drops at these hospitals all across New York and New Jersey and Pennsylvania. It was insane.
Yeah, that's
and they tried to not to ramble on too much, but they tried to cover it up not cover it up, but they tried to rationalize it a lot with like, oh well, we were able to figure out treatments for XYZ, ailment or XYZ disease.
Well, yeah, but like how many pets lost their lives or like.
And I think that to me is the argument. Like no one's saying that you can't do this, but we're saying that you shouldn't be stealing people's
right, and that's the thing. Stolen
pets
property
to do this. Like
more or less.
We can figure out a moral way to do research.
Sure. Donate like donations.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely. I don't know. There's that's what it's about. But that's Pepper.
Okay. All right. So we're going over to actual spicy peppers.
Things again.
Because you
spice for the pepper.
What a great show.
Such a good show.
We don't talk about that show enough, but we will more. We will make American Dad references.
Oh, so many.
So I love spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved spicy food. But like kind of like what you said before, like I don't want to blow like my palate out. Like I don't want to not be able to taste anything. But I enjoy like a reasonable amount of heat.
Yeah.
With the subtle notes or flavors of the pepper that you're having.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you could like go out into the grocery store and pick out of a bunch of peppers. Like there's quite a large selection, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would venture a guess that off the top of my head, I can picture at least, probably between at least a half a dozen and a dozen different
at the grocery store,
at
right?
The grocery store.
Okay,
yeah.
so in the entire world,
in
the entire world, we have about 50,000 different types of peppers.
Really?
Be it hot or mild, sweet, whatever.
Hmm.
So an insane amount to choose from. So it can be a little overwhelming. I want to make it a little more simple for everyone. And I want to talk about some chilies that you might not know, might not realize are actually synonymous with each other. The same chili, but they just go by different names.
Oh.
You'd be surprised.
What kind of trickery are they
You'd be
playing on
surprised
us?
to know, right? You'd be surprised to know. So we're going to go to Mexico for the most part, because that's where a lot of these things come from. And we're going to start with one that everyone knows, chipotle pepper.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, chipotle.
You know how to get a chipotle pepper? You dry and smoke a jalapeno.
That's, yes.
So a jalapeno, or I'm sorry, a chipotle is just a dried, smoked jalapeno pepper.
Oh.
Right.
Huh.
So jalapeno peppers come in, green and red. Red when they're left to ripen.
Right.
So they leave, let it ripen until it's red, almost like over ripen. Then they pluck them off, smoke them, and they can like turn like an ashy brown color.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have chipotle, jalapeno, same pepper.
Chipotle habanero, I thought you said.
Jalapeno.
Jalapeno. I'm following. Are you following? It was a test.
He didn't have an arrow.
It still gets
It's
me.
pretty good, right?
I can't wait to use that on my dad.
Oh, yes. He's going to love
Oh, I know he
love
is.
that.
I
Get
know
it to him
he's
before he hears the episode.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
Let's not forget, your parents and your family keep up. My parents are like, so we were listening to episode 7, and there was something you had said we're very upset about.
Oh, you please refresh my memory. Because
You're like, I don't know what happened last August, Mom.
Right. Yeah, seriously. Okay, so jalapeno, chipotle.
Okay.
Same pepper, right? Now we're going to go to another one of my favorites, a poblano.
Oh, I
You
know
know
the
a
name.
poblano pepper,
Yeah.
right? Green in color, unless you let it ripen until it's red,
Red.
which I didn't know that they turn red. Poblano, if you dry it,
Yeah.
it's just an ancho chili.
Oh, wait. So, like, how does this come about?
So the practice of drying chilies is very common in Mexico. That's where a lot of these are from. But it's just, what are you asking me? Like, why?
It sounds
why
like
have we not known before that you could just like dry a pepper?
You know what? For a second, I was gonna say it sounds like a racket, but then I'm thinking about the fact is like, what is a grape or what is a raisin but a dried grape?
a dried grape.
So I guess this tracks, but yeah.
So like part of it is because of the different qualities. So like I didn't know this, but I've had many green jalapenos, fresh.
Yeah.
So I know that they're like slightly grassy, kind of bitter, and they just have like that's their flavor profile, right? I didn't know that when they get red, they get a little sweeter. They retain that like brightness, but they get sweeter and lose the bitterness. Kind of same thing with the poblano. It gains sweetness as it ripens, and then kind of loses that like grassy, bitter, earthy tone. But when you smoke them or like dry them, in this case, they get like that smoky kind of after effect. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
There's more.
Call now.
Call now and you can get your ancho chili powder pack.
Limitations exist.
Colorado or California peppers are just dried Anaheim chilies.
Oh, I don't think I've had those before.
I've had Anaheim, but I've never had a California or a Colorado. Guajillos are just dried mirasols.
Oh.
The Chile Chico are just dried serranos.
Huh.
And pasillas are just dried. They're called chalacas.
I love all the names though, which
Yeah,
make
me
them
too.
so much. What was the one you said just before?
Pasilla,
Before that,
Guajillo, Serrano,
Chile
Chile Chico.
Chile Chico.
Chile Chico.
Like that to me is such a fun.
So like that one was kind of interesting. It came with or actually multiple names. It came with Chile Chico, Chile Ticoco, and then another name, but it's more of like a broad generalized name is Chile Seca, which could actually be used for any kind of dried smoked chili.
That makes sense. That's because seca means dried.
Okay. So Chile de Arbol is the one chili that I found in my research that has the same name, fresh or dry.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's fun stuff. I'm gonna. You know what? It's gonna make it interesting because I will now consciously try to taste some of those flavor differences going from fresh
Yeah.
to ripened.
Yeah.
To dry.
You definitely get the smoky with the chipotle. And the only reason
I'm
I
not
know
a big
about
fan of chipotle personally.
I love chipotle chilies.
Yeah.
What about ancho? You like ancho?
Those I do like.
Ancho
yeah.
I like a lot. I actually put ancho chili powder on my tortillas when we homemade tortillas. You know, cut them up and throw them in the oven.
I want to know.
Sprinkle a little ancho.
I want to know about the banana pickle. Like the banana pickle.
Oh, the
pepper.
the banana pepper.
Yeah.
The yellow pepper. I mean, I
love
didn't do any
those.
research on that, but I'm sure we could do it really quickly.
Yeah, you want to real quick?
That's one of my favorite. Yeah.
Banana.
So I've had
pepper.
like weird banana pepper pizza combinations.
Okay.
Like barbecue banana pepper chicken pizza.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of barbecue with my pizza.
You don't like barbecue on your pizza?
No.
Really?
No.
What would you like? Like if you want like fancy pizza, you know, like sometimes you don't.
I don't
you
consider
just want,
anything
like,
with barbecue.
pepperoni.
I don't consider anything with barbecue sauce to be fancy.
Okay, fair enough. What like if you want to like go out of the box on your pizza, you don't just want pepperoni and.
I like to get the quattro stagione. That's like the 4 seasons. So it's olives, artichokes, mushroom.
Oh, that's a new one.
And I can't think of what the last thing is. But yeah, I love those.
Interesting.
Oh, it's so
I
good.
never
And
heard of
ham.
that.
It's ham.
And ham?
Ham, but like thicker cut ham. Yeah.
All right, what do you want to know about banana peppers?
I just wanted to know about them.
So they're a medium-sized member of the chili pepper family.
Okay.
They're mild and tangy in taste.
Yeah.
Typically bright yellow. All this information is from Wikipedia, by the way. It's possible for them to change to green, red, or orange as they ripen.
That I did not know.
So I'm finding out now that we pick a lot of our peppers early.
Yes.
In the ripening process.
But that's because that's when they're the hottest usually.
So I found the opposite with the jalapeno, if anything. I don't know if that's the only one that's that way, but as it ripens to red, it actually... Oh, no, you know what? You're correct. As they ripen, they go closer to the median of their heat. Okay, all right. So we want them when they're hot.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Some like it when it's hot.
Some like it hot. I don't know what I'm doing today. This is insanity.
It's the beer.
It's the
Which
beer.
we still haven't finished, by the way.
Can I tell you about... I want so many more of those.
You beat me. Yeah, it's really tasty.
Ah, so good.
That's all the best parts of a smoothie sour without it being a smoothie sour.
Smoothie sour. Yeah, I 100% agree.
That might be the biggest flavor packed straight up kettle sour we've ever had.
I think so. I would definitely say that you're right.
It's just got a ton of guava flavor.
I love it.
It really does.
God, I'm so upset.
It's
There's
so
no
good.
more.
Too sad.
Send us more.
Will work for beer.
Will work for beer. WWB. And B and C. What that C is, it's cigarettes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the C?
You MFs.
I'll take more beer in place of my cigarettes, please.
Can I tell you about John Henry Pepper?
I wish you would.
Of course. I'd be
Henry Pepper.
John Henry Pepper.
If
Oh,
only we had a leader
I know.
of such name quality.
Right? Here for John Henry Pepper. Pepper. Oh, God. He is was a British scientist and inventor who gained much of his notability for his engaging lectures on chemistry and electricity. Okay?
All right.
So he's known most for his collaborative invention, which was called Pepper's Ghost. Not to be confused with
the ghost pepper.
Correct. So Pepper's Ghost is actually an illusionary trick used often in like theater, film, amusement parks, etc., which involved the reflection of an individual onto another pane of glass, which would give the impression that like a ghost would be on stage in
Oh.
the performance. So like think about like a teleprompter, or how like nowadays we'll have like concerts with like Tupac and whatnot.
Yeah, the hologram.
It's so it's not actually a hologram at all. It's still using this same sort of ghost reflecting. Yeah, so like you
Pepper's
would
ghost.
set a room up in like two different forms. So it would almost be like I would have the image on this sheet here.
Yeah.
I would be able to shine a light on it, and that light would then kind of bounce off and up
To somewhere
onto
else.
exactly up onto
Okay.
like another screen so you could
Okay.
see it. So he's also managed to light up Trafalgar Square and St. Paul's Cathedral in 1863 using like really early examples of arc light. He was able to send a telegram at one point at. I'm sorry, I just bumped your.
You
bumped
sure
your
did,
leg.
playing footsie under the table
Sorry,
with me there, buddy.
Weird.
Don't make me
In
tell my wife.
18. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? I don't know what's happening today. In 1867, at a banquet of, quote, noblemen and scientific gentlemen, which I think sounds like a great banquet.
That sounds like an incredibly interesting banquet, I would say.
Right? He was able to have sent a telegram between the second Duke of Wellington and President Andrew Johnson, who had been in D.C. at the time. So he was able to show that he could send this message back and forth in under 10 minutes.
Whoa.
Which was, again, you're talking about just after the Civil War that this was sort of thing was happening. So now, again, I've got to, he's a pretty impressive guy so far, but why would I talk about, just an inventor? It's okay, he's an inventor. All right. Stay with me, folks.
What's the shtick?
So in 1879, he and his family had gone to Australia, where he was doing like the rounds of his demonstrations and his lectures and whatnot. And after a while, he had kind of, had some of his popularity wane. So he tried to do stuff in theater and whatnot, and it wasn't working out. Well, the summer of 1882, it was a particularly harsh summer in Australia.
It's hot.
Hot down under. And there was very little rainfall, very high temperatures, which all resulted in like drought. The answer for Pepper was obvious, that he was going to make it rain. He claimed that he can make it rain.
Dollar bills, y'all. Dollar.
Make it rain on them roos. Kanga. Okay.
Did he?
Well, I can promise you that hopefully this wouldn't be the first time you were hearing about him if he did.
Fair enough.
So I've kind of just copied this and zhuzhed it around just a little bit, but from Wikipedia. But
Sure.
I couldn't figure out a way to kind of not do this. So he had started his experiments in the weeks leading up to the public event. It was a public event. He gathered a range of materials, including 10 swivel guns, powerful rockets from the HMS Cormorant, a landmine, and a large quantity of gunpowder.
Oh, boy.
The plan was to create a bonfire that would billow smoke into the air. Then an explosion in the clouds would contribute to a change in their electrical condition. He then theorized that this would trigger the rainfall. Several helpers had also helped to try to launch a 20-foot steel kite into the air, but with little success.
Dude is insane.
Finding it to be
Too heavy?
Unwieldy is actually the term they used. Finding it to be unwieldy, and he reduced its size by the time the main show came around. No, the 20-foot steel kite is too... Make it smaller.
You can't make it fly?
Make it smaller.
Only 18 feet.
So the event was held at a place called Eagle Farm. So the Eagle Farm event was attended by about 700 people, which is a pretty
good for that
decent
time,
turnout. So Pepper's smaller kite...
For someone claiming to make it rain,
To make it rain, right? It's this... What are you doing today? He's an English bloke who says he's going to make it rain. That's a terrible Australian accent. I don't know what happened
Bit odd, isn't it?
Isn't it?
That was English.
It's we're doing all right. We won the war. It's all right. So Pepper's smaller kite only managed to fly a short distance until it was like abandoned. The swivel guns were then fired, attempting to create an explosion in the sky.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by these swivel guns.
Well, however, due to an overfilling of powder in one of the guns, the only explosion of significance was the gun itself, which was sent then crashing into an empty grandstand. So, like, the gun itself, like, blew up, essentially.
Oh, my God.
Another potentially dangerous incident was the launching of the rockets, one of which flew horizontally and only narrowly managed to miss the crowd.
Oh, my God.
Needless to say, Mr. Pepper did not make it rain.
I bet he was drowning in lawsuits, though.
No. It didn't seem so, at least. However, he was kind of upset because the fact is that he was, like, mocked by so many other scientists afterwards. And it's interesting because I had read a couple, like, quotes from him, you know, about how he was kind of, like, treated after the fact. Because he was, again, a very, like, well-respected, again, you know, scientist before this.
Yeah.
So he kind of maintained, like, a lower profile. He eventually went back to England. And I believe it was 1889 where he had kind of lived for the next, like, 10, 12-ish years until he had died. But he was really steadfast in the rest of his work. And when others had tried to do what he tried to do, because there were other folks that were still, you know, this is a grand period of, like,
that
enlightenment.
were into it. Yeah.
He basically would always kind of wish them, like, luck. And, like, basically saying, like, listen, I just hope that whatever happens, you're not treated the same way that I was.
Damn.
Which I was like, what a proper gentleman.
Yeah, seriously.
In fact.
Took the L with class.
Right?
Yeah.
John Henry Pepper.
Fantastic name. I've learned many a name on this podcast
Right,
that
so
I
many
did not
names.
know were so awesome.
So many names.
All right, so for my last little bit here, I spoiler alerted you earlier. We are going to talk about my baby back ribs.
My baby back, baby back, baby back.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
Chili.
So let us recall the greatest marketing jingle of mid-level restaurant in history. In history.
Are you a lower middle class
I can, like, tell me though.
suburban family?
Can you even think about Chili's without hearing the jingle?
Oh, no, not at all.
You can't.
No,
So
I don't think so.
Did its job. Are you
Yeah.
Are you a middle lower class family? Do you guys get boring with the old pot roast dinner on Friday nights? Come over to Chili's.
Do you want to pretend like you're not just going ahead and paying a little bit more for the stuff that you could buy with the Chili's logo from the frozen food section and heating it up for yourself at home? But you want to be
It
out
always
in
comes out
public?
as good.
Equally as good.
It's because they get it frozen. Anyway, okay. So this was written
We just
by...
shit all
Oh,
over Chili's, by the way.
100%. So that's all right. They're not going to see it. So it was written in 1998 by Guy Bomarito. That's his name.
Shut up.
Not a guy named... Yeah, Guy Bomarito. Okay. So Vice magazine called Guy Bomarito the Don Draper of the 90s. Kind of a virtuoso of an ad guy.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Okay?
Oh, I'm so excited if you have other examples of stuff that he's done.
I don't. I stuck with this. So... Or do you think you know?
I was just hoping that he did, like, the Mentos commercials.
He honestly might have, because apparently, like, this was right up his, like, alley as far as style.
Oh, really?
This,
okay.
This ad. So there's an interview from Vice where Guy talks about the song and its popularity and, like, how he didn't expect it to blow up so much. So he claims that he wrote the jingle in 5 minutes, unsurprisingly, because it's like 5 words.
So here's what we want, Guy. We want people to want their baby back ribs. And they want
a nose from Chili's.
From Chili's. All right.
So he goes in, he said he presented it to them, the client.
Yeah.
He just sang it to them. And they said, yeah, that's fine. Like, that's what they said. Like, sure, this is okay. So he calls up his friend Tom Faulkner. Guy lives in Dallas. And Guy sings the song to Faulkner over the phone. Faulkner records it, makes it sound professional. And, like, that's what they shoot out the first time. So then they eventually did do, like, a full recording session. And I was able to find the video, like, behind the scenes video of the original recording session. Yeah, but that's not what I want to play for you, because that's not the aim of my story. But anyway, in this interview,
to sell me stock in Chili's?
Yes, the pyramid scheme. So in the interview, he goes on to say, you know, he thought it was going to be a small time song. He didn't put a lot of work into it. He just didn't expect much of it. But then it ran again, and a few months later, it ran again, and then again, and then again. And then a couple years go by, and he leaves the ad agency where he wrote this song, or where, he worked when he wrote this song. And he gets a call on the phone, and they say, Guy, your song is going to be in Austin Powers. And he goes, what song?
Oh my
And
God.
right.
No
and I
way.
forgot until I had
Oh,
read
that's
that.
how I still know. Chili's, baby back ribs, barbecue sauce.
So he had no idea it was going to be like this. And I mean, that's hysterical.
Oh,
the fat bastard bit.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
So I didn't know this. My wife brought it to my attention. In Sync did a cover of the Chili's Baby Back Rib song.
I think I knew that too.
Do you? Okay, so there were 2 commercials. One commercial shows the 5 of them marooned on an island singing, but
my
seemingly
God,
like
yes.
about a lost love. But it turns out to be a Chili's commercial.
Oh yes, because they harmonize like
Yes.
I want my
Yep,
baby
and
back.
they drop a helicopter drops a care package on top of Joey Fatone at the end of the commercial.
Oh,
okay.
Joey Fatone.
Then there's a second commercial. And the second commercial has an interesting bit of foreshadowing, and I'll tell you why after we listen to it. I think it's okay if I play it, right?
Yeah,
I think
we're
with the sound, I think
critiquing
it'll be
on
okay?
it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
I think that is well within our legal.
Okay. So I'm gonna boost it up. I hope it's not too loud.
I'll wind up going ahead
Here's-
and I'll put another
okay.
version underneath.
Okay. Here's the second commercial.
Look, it's not like Justin's the only one who's doing it.
Yeah, we were all doing it before the shows.
Even after the shows.
It was always around.
I remember when Justin hit rock bottom.
So I'm giving my heart to you. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Chili's baby back ribs. Yeah.
It was just too easy to get.
Way too easy.
Okay.
Oh, so genius.
Okay. So the band is frustrated with Justin because he can't keep it together. Okay. So interestingly enough, and I said there's a little bit of foreshadowing
Excuse me.
in that. So Chili's sponsored the last leg of NSYNC's 2002 Celebrity Tour. And it turns out that after that last leg of the tour, that was the last time that the band would ever tour again.
Really?
So in the commercial where they
Are
so
throwing
sick
their
of
hands
Justin,
up.
who goes on to have his own music, he does his own solo thing and is still doing it.
Well, to the rest of everybody else in sync, in the words of, I believe, Timberlake's first hit, "Cry Me a River."
Actually.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the song.
But yeah.
Wow.
I know that's that, and I didn't
That's
even notice
cool.
at first until I read it in the article, and it said after this was the last time that, and I was like,
I didn't
son
realize
of
that
a
they had
gun.
broken up that soon.
Yeah,
It
seemed. I mean, it's 20 years ago.
No, I know, but I guess in relation to when they
When
kinda,
they started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the boy bands is another episode.
Burned hot.
Yeah, burn hot.
Burned hot.
Burn hot.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's we can't have an episode unless we have a conspiracy theory.
Oh, of course, because it just wouldn't be a Beer's End episode.
Right.
I am digging that one.
Things are getting too spicy for the pepper.
Things are getting too spicy for the pepper.
We asked you guys in the beginning of the episode, and I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to post it on Instagram on the story. Tell us what your favorite spicy dish is.
Yeah, I want to know.
We're interested.
In all sincerity, the reason why I genuinely want to know is A, for who's listening, and B, as I've gotten older, I have liked and enjoyed and experimented with spicier and hotter food more and more and more and more and more.
Helps you burn more calories.
And listen, I'm all about that. The less cardio I got to do, the better.
Eat spicy food.
Eat spicy food.
Kickstart that metabolism early in the morning. Watch Beer's End.
Like Beer's End.
And get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of here.
See ya.
Goodbye.